JT Smith of the TFON podcast, live for season 3, episode 4, and I have a special guest in the studio or on the internet with me. I have Jacob Davis of the Hog Talk podcast and Saturday. Let's see, is it
Saturday
Saturday?
down south.
My bad on that
Oh,
one.
you're
Saturday,
good, man.
I
You're
do better than
good.
that. But
You're good.
he is a guy that covers the Arkansas Razorbacks, and that's who the Bearcats play on Saturday on ESPN at 3:30. A battle of two top 25 teams that will be taking that will just be getting it on, man. And I'm happy to have Jacob here. Jacob, how you doing today?
Man, I'm doing well, man. It's a good late at night thing, just I'm excited about this game. Seeing what Arkansas and Cincinnati will do. Really, it's really this is the biggest. I've been covering the Hogs for I guess 6 years now, so this is the biggest season opening game Arkansas's had since I've been doing this. It's fun. I'm excited about it and ready to see what Cincinnati does coming off fresh of their playoff appearance.
Pretty dope, man. So this is our,
Oh
I'll
yeah,
say this is our biggest like opening game as well. It was UCLA when Fickle's second year. I think we had them back to back, but I think we had a fluff game
yeah,
in one of them, and then the first one on the road it was just UCLA. So this is, but I don't think UCLA was a top 25 team. Just the name UCLA.
right.
But this is the first time that we're playing some boys that we know are serious from the jump. So pretty excited as well. Just as a person that covers the team on a consistent basis.
Yeah, and as you should be. I mean, this is a top 25 matchup,
Yeah,
prime time of the day at 2:30 or 3:30 Eastern time on ESPN. So yeah, it's a big matchup. You got to compete with the Georgia and Oregon game though, but there's gonna be a lot of eyes in Fayetteville, Arkansas this coming weekend.
for sure. But as long as everybody has, solid cable or even or solid streaming services, they can go
Oh
back
yeah,
and forth. But I think this game will be pretty good. For whoever watches. I know, you guys will definitely be locked in. I know we will. We definitely we're excited, chomping at the bit, man. Especially how we lost last year. We were 0-2 against SEC teams. Georgia were so close and kind of let that one slip away, and then Bama that game they just kind of strong armed us. But that's neither here nor there. And we lost a lot of people in the league, so we got to kind of some proven, unproven people. Which I know that sounds crazy, but we got people that had few snaps last year, but they're going to have more of a role this year. But I'm going to get right into it. You guys have a top 25 team. You guys have a possible dark horse in the Heisman Trophy running with KJ Jefferson. What is it? As a person that's been there covering this team, around this team, what is to see a guy like him, come down there and just kind of put his imprint in there to be able to run and pass? What makes him so special? And then just where do you think he can improve, et cetera? Just give a love fest for JK real quick.
yeah. So KJ, a lot of people kind of say he's more of a Cam Newton type of player. I think he's a better thrower than what Cam Newton was, but Cam Newton was also a solid runner, like one of the best in the country. A lot of people in the South can compare KJ to Cam, and I think that's what makes him so special. A guy that's physical. He's a guy that takes on the personality of his head coach. A guy that works hard, like Sam Pittman does. That doesn't take no for an answer. A guy that's physical in the run game. He does look to run first, and we haven't been able to see a lot of that during the fall practice and spring because every time a defender would get even close to KJ, they'd whistle the play dead, which didn't happen very often. So, yeah, KJ's a special guy. Obviously, he got better as the season progressed last year. About midway through the last 6 games, I think his I'm going straight off the top of my head. His completion percentage was around 71% through 15 touchdowns. I think only threw one interception through the final 6 games, and I think he rushed for 3 touchdowns. A guy that went toe to toe with the best. I mean, he played the Mississippi State game. I think he was 18 to 23 passing there. He threw for over 300 yards and was 22 of 30 passing against Alabama last year and 3 touchdowns. So the guy, when the lights got brighter and as the season went on, he got better. And you look at it and it's Kendall Briles, who's not had a starting quarterback return, and his whole time as an offensive coordinator, this is KJ's second year under him as a starter. So I expect some special things to happen with KJ, and it all depends on how he starts this year. You've got I think y'all have three defensive linemen back that were starters last year, or have some experience. I think you have two good linebackers, two solid linebackers. Now you lose Sauce Gardner, and several other guys on the defensive backfield. So, it's going to be interesting to watch the chess game that's going to be going on between the Arkansas offense and Cincinnati defense.
For sure, man. I'm excited to see how that takes place.
Yeah.
Jefferson is a guy that's as big as a defensive end or outside linebacker, depending on the team you play. Strong built young man, and he can move. So it's going to be interesting because I don't think the Bearcats have played a guy that's as physical as him at the quarterback position since.
Yeah.
I really can't remember off the top of my head because Bryce Young, they played him, but he can move.
He's smaller.
Physical. He's a lot smaller as well. He really didn't have to display that part of his game against the Bearcats as well. Georgia really didn't have a guy that could do that. Houston, Tune could move a little bit, but he's not JK. He's not KJ at all. I really can't think of a guy that played that has his kind of skill set. So it's going to be interesting to see that. And, the way the Bearcats play defense, they're big up front, but they do have their linebackers are smaller, per se, at certain spots, depending on, how they put formation they're in or whatnot. So it's going to be interesting to see how, when those linebackers get one-on-one with him, hopefully they can gang tackle him all day, how they hold up against him. They're a short tackling team, but they haven't faced a guy like him. So I'm real interested to see how that goes.
Right. I wouldn't want to be a linebacker trying to tackle KJ. No, absolutely not. I would probably end up with a concussion and probably would say, hey, I'm redshirting the rest of the season. I'm not doing that again.
Yeah, I would definitely be a guy I want to take the angle, and I don't want the heads up. I don't want the heads up. And hopefully my DN or D tackles filling that lane where he can side, and then I can hit him head on. You know what I mean? I need somebody else to help me with that guy. But
absolutely.
It's going to be interesting to see how that goes. Because he's a guy that can do it both ways. He led you guys' team in rushing last year. With that being said, do you think the emphasis is to let him not run as much, or maybe have one of the current running backs be the guy that hopefully takes that load off of KJ?
I'm glad you actually asked me that, because last year he did lead the team in rushing, and a lot of it had to do with the running game that he was able to hand off to. You had Rocket Sanders, Traylon Smith, A.J. Green, and Dominique Johnson, which was a four-headed monster in the backfield. Now Traylon Smith is obviously gone. He's left to go to UTSA for his final year of eligibility. So, yeah, KJ was our leading rusher, but you also have to look at it in the fact that he wasn't the one always taking the hits either, because you had four other guys that were over 500 yards in rushing last year. So you also obviously have Rocket Sanders, the stud out of Florida, the state of Florida, as a freshman. He's going to be a sophomore this year. He had 500-something yards and 7 touchdowns last season. Looking forward for him to take a big jump. The guy's like 6'2", 230 pounds. So obviously you got a 6'3", 240 quarterback, and you got a 6'2", 230-pound running back that I also bruise you, and I wouldn't want to be run over. I mean, he looks good. He looks the part of a SEC running back that you would expect to see, like a Bo Scarborough at Alabama, or like a Leonard Fournette at LSU for a couple of seasons ago. So he's a big guy. He has explosive capabilities. I think a guy that's going to be able to take a load off of KJ. Dominique Johnson, I don't know if he's going to actually play this Saturday. He's coming off a lower leg injury last season in the Outback Bowl win over Penn State. So he also rushed for over 500 yards and almost, I think he's 6 or 7 touchdowns, 8 touchdowns, something like that too. He may or may not play, so you'll see A.J. Green maybe take a couple of his snaps and reps. He started off the season really good, and then as the season went on, he kind of hit a freshman wall. But I expect to see A.J. Green maybe improve over what he did last season. He has 10-2 or 10-3 100 meter dash speed. So he's another guy that can also burn you too. So yeah, KJ may have led the team in rushing, but he has a stout rushing game that led all of Power 5 football last season at 227 yards per game in rushing last year. So they return about 80% of their production. So I think they're going to be doing well there as far as the offensive side of the football goes, rushing the football.
Yeah, that's true. And just to piggyback on what you said,
yeah,
you guys have AJ Green. So I know this is, a college podcast per se, but in Cincinnati, AJ Green is like, man, this is like probably one of the only times you don't want a person named AJ Green to do well.
Yeah, absolutely. And that AJ Green up there in Cincy, he was an animal.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, man, I always liked watching him play while he was at Georgia, and he played pretty well there for the Cincinnati Bengals there for a little while. Is he still there?
No, he's with the Cardinals.
That's what I thought. That's right. That's right.
Yeah, but yeah.
So you don't wish him well at all.
No. We don't want this AJ Green to do good. We don't want him to do good. He could do good the rest of the season. We don't want him to do good. On Saturday.
Oh yeah.
But you guys have a hell of a running attack.
Yeah.
Who are the guys? Maybe where it's a tight end or a wide receiver. Who are the guys? I saw that all of you guys are real tall at the wide receiver position. And we'll get to your line in a second. Everybody's 320, but I feel like every receiver is 6'2" and up. So is it just like a committee guy, or is it a wide receiver group by committee, or is it just like you have one or two guys where your bread is buttered and KJ is going to get it to him or that other person? Like who are the guys that the Bearcats better watch out? Because they don't have Sauce or Kobe this year, but they do have a lot of unproven, talented young men on that side of the ball. But it's not the same guy, so I think they're prepared to get tested a lot. And I mean, if I was a coach, I would test them, just because like they haven't been held that fort down like the other guys. You got somebody there for 3-4 years consistently. You don't get as many snaps. So who's that guy? Or those guys?
So obviously we lost Traylon Burks last year. He was the first round receiver.
Yeah.
So losing him's hard. Now I don't know anything about this wide receiver group. I don't know who's gonna. I mean, not to say I don't know anything about him, but they are going. There's a lot of new guys in the 2 deep this year. They're all like 6'3". And like 200 pounds. It's crazy. This is the most size I've seen at the Arkansas's wide receivers in a very long time. And it just kind of happened overnight through the transfer portal. You've got Matt Landers, who was at Georgia as a freshman till his junior year, transferred out, went to Toledo last year, and averaged like 25 yards a catch. The guy runs like a 4.3 40. He's at 6'5", 205. I mean, he's a big guy. But he had like 25 yards a catch and 7 touchdowns last year for Toledo. You had Jaden Hazelwood coming over from OU, who was a very good receiver at yards after catch. He's a guy that'll get you the yak yardage. I think it's more like, I think he had like 400 something yards on like 28, 30 catches last year, whatever it was for OU. But he was their leading receiver, so he comes over to Arkansas. And then you have Warren Thompson, who was a wide receiver at Florida State, played for Arkansas last season. He's another guy at 6'3", like 200 pounds, physical receiver, has pretty good speed, can get open. I mean, he had a couple of times where he was able to kind of surprise like Ole Miss's and Alabama's defense throughout the game and ability to get open. And at tight end, you had Trey Knox, this is a guy that just a fascinating story. A guy that started at Arkansas as a wide receiver as a freshman. He was 6'5", 180 pounds, maybe 6'5", 180. He was Arkansas's like one of their leading receivers his freshman year under Chad Morris's last season. He didn't get any playing time really in 2020, and then this past season, the last 6 games, he had like I want to say 20 catches, 200 yards, and 1 touchdown, and all of that was in the final 6 games after he moved from wide receiver to tight end. Okay. So he was a tight end at 6'5", 215, and that's not a good matchup to have. You can't depend on him in run block, and you can't really depend on him at receiver because he's not as fast. He maybe runs a 4.6. This year, over the summer, the guy is now 6'5", 245 pounds, 250 pounds at tight end. Muscled up, a very good-looking body. And so I expect him, I don't know how big of an impact he's going to make, but he broke out last season undersized, and now he's got that size, SEC size. That's somebody else y'all need to watch out for. Trey Knox, number 7, tight end.
Yeah, he put on 30 pounds of muscle. Yeah. That's serious business. So
yeah,
you guys, I didn't realize that was Hazelwood that went to Oklahoma.
Yes,
I remember him, he was a solid dude. And the Toledo kid, Toledo has had some good offensive teams as of late on the low.
Oh yeah.
And so he went there. He probably got some game on him. So that's interesting. All right, so you guys are the Hogs. Let's talk about you guys as big men up on the front line and the offensive line. You look at it, you see 6'5", 320, everybody's 330. Like what are they feeding those young men? And who's the pillar? Who's that guy that's the important or the rock person on that offensive line?
Yeah. So it's the Sam Pittman factor, man. Everywhere he's gone over the past decade, he's had dominant offensive lines, and one of them in 2015 was the biggest offensive line in all of football, NFL or college. So he's got a new starter at left tackle. You had to replace Myron Cunningham. He's got a transfer in from Notre Dame. His name's Luke Jones. He's been in the system for 2.5 years now. He's 6'5", I think 320, 330, 337 or something like that is what I saw earlier. But he's a really good-looking guy at left tackle. And then you have basically all your 4 starters back. Your right tackle, 6'9", 330. But your most important guy is Ricky Stromberg at center. He is the guy that will get it done. He is a good student. He's a solid kid and a guy that's very, very physical at the point of attack. As soon as he snaps the ball, he's got you. He kind of reminds me a lot of Frank Ragnow, who now plays at Detroit for the Detroit Lions. He was a first-round draft pick at Arkansas. He was a Sam Pittman recruit while he was there as offensive line coach. So, then you have your guard positions. You have Brady Latham and Bo Lemer, who I think he squatted 750 pounds last week. I mean, basically the Hulk. He is actually your smallest offensive lineman. He's like 6'3", like 305, 310, but can squat 750 pounds. That's just insane to me. I have trouble squatting onto the floor and picking up my 10-month-old. I can't squat.
That's serious.
But yeah,
I squat a little bit. My knee, I'm on borrowed time with my knees, so I don't have to do workouts on my legs. But that squatting, my stuff. You ever seen that one? I don't know if it was a meme or a video where the dude was like trying to lift something else and he's squatting at the same time and he just posed like a sandwich.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that would be me.
I've seen it. That's great. That's great.
Unhinged like a Mortal Kombat animation or something at the knee. That'd be tough. But,
That's great.
Yeah, you guys are huge. Like at that position or at that group for sure. Is it? I know you guys run the ball well. Are they good at? Are they a pass blocking? Are they strong at pass blocking, or they just want to maul you because I'm 330 pounds. I don't have to play much finesse.
Right. So this offense is predicated on the RPO. So yeah, you kind of had to pass block a lot, but they're going to want to run. It's a run-dominated offense under Kendall Briles, and I think it's going to be more of like a 60-40. But yeah, they can pass block when they have to. KJ last season, obviously you have 4 guys back, so the continuity's there, and so I mean they know each other. They know what they need to do, and I don't think they'll have any problem pass blocking. But the run blocking is probably going to be their strongest part of the offensive line. I think they'll pave the way again. I don't know if they'll lead all of Power 5 football in rushing like they did last year, but they're going to be close to it again. I think they can still be top 5, top 10.
So we're going to flip it to the defensive side of the ball. We know the offense is strong, especially run-oriented. have the skill players. What about on the defensive side? The Bearcats are, I would say, decent, but from the last few seasons, they're a pretty 50-50 type of team. They want to run downhill, but with the new offensive coordinator, I feel like they're going to attack the edges a lot more and try to get people in space, which is a welcome sight for a lot of Bearcat fans because you guys will. Is LSU on you guys' schedule?
Yes, LSU's on there.
Okay.
Yes.
So then Brock, which is a good guy, always been a pleasant person. He is stick to the plan, don't deviate. We're going to try to run down your face. Where I feel like Gino is more, he wants to try to get people in space, use his speed, take advantage of that. So, with that being said, how do you think Arkansas is going to defend the Bearcats? And then kind of who are you guys' keys like on each level? Like your secondary, linebackers, and defensive line. We'll just group it all in them.
Yeah. So it depends on what quarterback y'all are going to trot out there on Saturday. Because if you use Ben Bryant, who's a big guy that's not very mobile, I think you're going to see more of that the horizontal running. I mean, trying to get to the edges. But I don't know exactly how much success y'all have. Not saying that's a bad thing, but Arkansas also has plenty of good speed and a lot of experience on the outside edges. Barry Odom likes to get guys to the football, and when I say like not just one or two guys, he wants the whole team coming after the guys. So you have speed outside the lines. You've got Bumper Pool, who is the returning one of the returning starters at linebacker, and you also have Drew Sanders, a linebacker transfer from Alabama. He's a guy that has really good speed. I did not know exactly how much speed he had until he chased down Malik Hornsby, who's our backup quarterback, who could run like a 10-2, 10-3, 100-meter dash. Like this guy, I mean, it's just insane how good of an athlete he is. You also have Jalen Catalon at safety, Miles Slusher at nickelback, who are two guys that are very, very quality safeties, defensive backs, whatever you want to call them. They can get to the football quick too, as far as trying to keep people from going on the edges. Arkansas has not always had that because they used to get beat on the edges because they were slow. Yeah. And this team is built on speed, and that's one of the things that Coach Sam Pittman has said over and over and over again this fall is that Arkansas, his team, has more speed and more size than they've really ever had on either side of the football, especially on defense. So really looking forward to seeing how they match up with Cincinnati. How is Cincinnati's speed going to affect Arkansas? Are they going to be able to get the first game jitters out of the way and play clean football? That's the question there. And if they can play clean and keep everything in front of them, I think they can have success. Now, if you put who's the backup quarterback there at Cincinnati? I'm forgetting his name.
It's 50-50, right? So it's not been announced. So
okay, who's the other quarterback? He's more of a dual threat.
Evan Prater.
Yeah. So I feel like he's a guy that could probably impact the game more than Ben, just because he's a little bit more mobile. But we'll see on Saturday. I think it's going to be a good test, man. And then on defensive line, though, I didn't answer that part. The defensive line's a question mark right now, just because you don't have any returning starters on the defensive line. But these guys all have experience. They played a lot of snaps, like you mentioned earlier about your defensive line. Yeah. A lot of guys that have played a lot of football. So I'm not too worried about it, but we're limited in depth there. So that's if you lose one of those guys, it's gonna hurt. So really looking forward to seeing what they can do Saturday and see if they can limit y'all in the run game, because I assume losing Desmond Ridder, y'all are going to kind of depend on the run game more.
I would say so, especially being the first game. I think we're deep at running back. They can rotate a lot of quality guys. I would think the running game would be very important in their tight ends. We got 2 quality tight ends, actually 3, but 2 that are going to get the ball or should get the ball. And then you got some solid receivers, a lot of speed at receiver, got some size mixed in there as well. So, but I think it starts with the running game, and I feel like they want to go inside out, per se. In my head, that's how I look at it. Especially when you got
Right.
the two tight ends that are 6'4", 6'5", can make plays and move. So you want to try to test those linebackers and see if they can cover. But or maybe safeties, who knows? Maybe catch them being too aggressive or something. But it's going to be definitely interesting, man, because the Bearcats have the one thing is their offensive line, all their starters return on the offensive
Yeah.
line. Um, so even if somebody's not starting because of coming back from injury or whatnot, they still have a little bit of depth there that people are it's kind of
Right.
shocking, especially being a G5 team at this current point in the in college football right now. So
Absolutely.
um, that would be definitely interesting, man. If you were to pick, I mean, if you were to pick who would win, or like what's your? Do you want to do a prediction? Like it's up to you.
Oh man.
What's the
Oh
first
Lord.
game
You would
gonna
put me on the spot
be?
because I really don't know how this game is going to play out. I could see it being I think Arkansas with their returning experience, I think they have a chance to win. But I feel like if it's a close game going into the fourth quarter, I think Cincinnati could win. I'm not really ready to give a prediction yet. I don't know if I'm going to be ready to give a prediction because I don't know what in the world's going on. Like, I don't know. It depends on what quarterback plays. For Cincinnati, I know what Arkansas has, and I'm very confident Arkansas can start 1-0. But it really depends on what y'all do offensively, and I think
Yeah,
it could be a 10-point game just because Arkansas and in Fayetteville, I think Arkansas has a chance to kind of pull away late just with their run game.
yeah,
But if I still think Cincinnati, if it's a 3-point game, they have the experience. They're coming off the playoffs. They know how to get there and win. Y'all got a big victory over Notre Dame last year on the road in South Bend. So I mean,
yeah.
anything's possible. It's any given Saturday. JT, I'm really excited about this game. I'm not ready to give a prediction yet because I don't know what to expect yet.
Yeah, it's crazy because normally, like the Notre Dame game, you had multiple games to see it, and I was telling people like, "Look, man, I know this sounds homerish, but I'm like, I think the Bearcats will handle Notre Dame on the road easily." And everybody's
Right.
like, you sound crazy. I'm like, I'm telling you, man, they didn't have the. I mean, they had a few good, super good players. Their tight end is all world.
Absolutely.
Um, Kyle Hamilton's all world, of
Yep.
course,
Safety.
but it was like their quarterback they didn't have like a top tier quarterback. I mean, he's D1 of course, but it wasn't like
Right.
they had Bryce
He
Young,
wasn't a game changer. It's
CJ
not like
Stroud.
Brady Quinn.
Yeah, yeah. You know what I mean? They haven't really had that quarterback since like maybe a Brady Quinn, honestly. Or who was
Or
the
Jimmy
last?
Clausen.
Yeah, Clausen. Yeah,
Clausen
Clausen.
was all right.
Clausen was
Yeah.
legit. I like with Clausen. I can't lie. I like Clausen. See, it's been a minute since they really had that guy. I mean, I thought Malik was it Zaire? Was it Malik Zaire from
Yeah.
Iowa,
Yeah.
the lefty? I thought he was going to
And,
be kind of that guy, and he kind of
and then
fizzled.
they had a bigger guy like a couple of seasons ago, like maybe 2019, that started out great and then just kind
Yeah.
of,
Yep.
he just wasn't. And it ended up getting replaced by I think Ian Book, who ended
I
up
think so.
starting.
The one
Yeah.
guy he can
Yeah.
run real good, but then
Yeah.
he passed real good. I mean, then they
Yeah. He
started
was a
kind of
big
changing
guy.
up.
He's
He was like 50%. They couldn't really do much. Then Book took a spot. But yeah, they went on the road, beat them. I think the Bearcats having a solid line helps a lot, but playing on the road in front of almost 80,000 the first game is going to be a hell of a task to ask anybody. I don't think, no matter what, who wins, I feel like nobody's going to get blown out. I feel like it'll be a close
no.
game. Somebody, like interceptions, fumbles, timely penalties will be what undoes whoever loses this
Yep.
game.
I agree
I
with
feel
that.
like. And then I just think the Bearcats have to play clean early because they're on the road. I feel like even if the Bearcats come out and they go jump out on Arkansas 14-0 or something like that, I don't foresee that happening. But with you guys being at home, I feel like the tide will settle and you guys will make a run. You know what I mean? To get it
Oh
close. The
yeah. Yeah.
Bearcats just can't allow you guys to jump out on them like that because you're on the road, you get that crowd going, now you are hunting for a big play to have a chance. And then that's not good on the road. At home, you could probably get away with that, but on the road in front of almost 80,000, that doesn't sound too ideal. No matter how
No.
good the team is, and I don't think that would be
Exactly right.
indicative of how the team would be. I just don't think that can't happen. Like if you guys jump out it's a fumble in the first snap on the first series, or you guys get a pick six or something like that. You know what I mean? And then KJ runs down our throat or makes some kind of big play, and then now the fans are going super crazy. Everybody's hair is on fire. Now your defense is just going crazy. Their ears are back because they know you kind of have to pass a little bit more. It's not. I mean, you can run a little bit early depending on how it happens, but it takes the guessing game out of it. And I don't want the Bearcats can't afford for that to happen. They normally protect the ball very well, but it's just they haven't been in. They've been in some good environments, some great environments. They just haven't been in that first game. This is a top tier team that can beat you, that can beat you. So I want to see how that happens, how they hold up against that, man. That's going to be key. But I don't think it'll be a blowout no matter who wins. I would edge Arkansas's way just because you guys have an experienced quarterback. You guys have Bearcats have experience, but Ben the last 4 year came back. He played a lot last year, but it's still kind of same system, but it's still not what he did last year. So it's still a different thing, and you don't get that ease into the game as well. They have that ease in game next week. So, that feel-good game next week, normally you get that feel-good game where you might score 45, 52, give up 3 points because you got the third strings in because you're trying to blitz still and let everybody kind of get their feet wet. But, this game is just going to be a real game from the jump for both sides, and it's going to be interesting to see, man. I am super, super excited to watch this game. Greatly appreciate all your information. And I also want to say, are you covering the game? You're going to be alive?
Yeah, man. I'll be there at the game, and I'll have articles and stuff written after the game. You can check all those out at Saturday Down South, and you can listen to my podcast. Obviously, my recap of the game on Sundays at 8:30 in the evening time too. Okay. So that's every Sunday. So you can catch me there.
Sounds good, man. My guy Neil Meyer will be there covering it for the Front Office News. So. Make sure if you're in the building, you're not too busy, man. Feel free to say what's up to my man.
Hey, I sure will, dude.
Let everybody know where they can find you on social media, where they can find your work.
Yeah, you can always find me. It's the easiest way. I post everything on Twitter at Jacob Scott Davis. That's JACOB SCOTT DAVIS on Twitter, and you can also find me most of my stuff at SaturdayDownSouth.com.
So that's where everybody, if you want to get any information about this game, go there. Make sure you check out my man Jacob.
Will do.
Holding it down, giving us valuable information. Hopefully the Bearcats can start off 1-0, but it's going to be a heck of a task, and it's good, man. I don't know how it is for you guys, but for us, with us being the G5 team, currently, so next year, I can't wait. Oh man, I'm gonna do a backflip once that happens. Once we get back in the Big 12.
Y'all are like facing Boise State in the late 2000s, early 2010s. It's a fun time. Y'all are the G5 team. So
yeah, appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. It's cool because for a minute
nobody wants to play you.
Yeah, no, they don't. They don't, man. People take us off the
You're right.
Off the schedule all the time, man. I feel like we might lose North Carolina State the next year, I think. I feel like next year, I feel like that might be the one, but hopefully it's not. But I feel like I'm excited just because, man, we've just been on like a super rise, just
absolutely
faster than expected, and just playing good teams because it's hard. Like the bad thing, I know it sounds crappy. I'm not trying to crap on the AAC in general because it's giving the Bearcats a heck of a platform to be able to bounce and do what they're doing, but since like the last 2 years, this year I think the conference is top heavy, but I'm not for sure the bottom. Like they don't allow the Bearcats to have that lull. Like where in Arkansas, if you guys go 10-2, you're going to have names in there that you beat where people are going to love your 10-2. Where the Bearcats go 10-2, you get the wrong losses on that 10-2. You don't beat the right teams in that 10-2. People are gonna be like, all right, you lost.
Really? You lost Tulane?
yeah, exactly.
That kind of thing. Yeah.
Yep. And Tulsa plays as tough as heck. anyways, they were legit for two. Like last year, they weren't as good, but the year before, they were legit. Quiet as kept. But like you can't lose to Tulsa, can't lose to Navy. Those type of teams that kind of are where you can possibly lose and be like, all right, it sucks. You don't want to lose, but everybody's not gonna crap on you. Like, you know what I mean? If you lose to Tulane
exactly right
in October, everybody's gonna be like, this team isn't that good, but that's not the case. But we got two good non-conference games, two good ones. You guys and Indiana, which hold weight. So hopefully the Bearcats can do their thing and hopefully be at a New Year's Six bowl. But I know I'm getting long-winded, but for you guys, what do you think? How do you think you guys' season going to go? Just besides this UC game.
So I think anything less than 8-4 is going to be tough. I mean, because you don't want to take a step backwards. But I think that the expectation is to go 9-3 regular season or more.
Okay.
And because that's been the projection of this program since Sam Pittman took over 2 years ago, almost 3 years ago now. Arkansas was 2-10 back-to-back seasons, the worst stretch in Razorback football history under Brett Bielema and Chad Morris's tutelage. Lose them, and Arkansas has been skyrocketing through not just the rankings, but through the college football world, from the basement to almost like the second tier in the SEC. And then they're knocking on the door of the first tier. Like Arkansas's, this is probably the best team Arkansas is going to have or has had since the 2010 or 2011 seasons, when they went to the BCS and then the next year going to the Cotton Bowl. So it's been a long time coming. What's that?
Those McFadden years?
Oh, McFadden. Yeah, McFadden's years were good, but these were even greater. These were back-to-back 10-win seasons.
Hey, I missed
So
I remember when you had McFadden.
Yeah, McFadden was crazy. McFadden was so crazy good. He had one 10-win year.
Okay.
His sophomore season that catapulted him to Heisman Trophy runner-up. But then they kind of let down the next year with him as a junior before going pro. But yeah, the 2010 and 2011 seasons were great. And that's what I'm feeling like Arkansas needs to go to next, is maybe get to the 9-10 game plateau and then continue on up to competing for SEC West championships, and then maybe even getting to the SEC championship game, which Arkansas has been 2-3 times. So yeah, Arkansas, man, I'm really excited to see what they can do this year. I think they have the pieces. It's just a lot of the fans and a lot of the media are like, just don't let us down. We've heard about how great this team has looked and how fast they've looked all spring and all summer. Just don't let us down. I think that's a lot of what the fans are thinking too, is don't let us down. And I don't think they will. I think they have the good mindset to go 9-3 or 10-2.
Okay, that's fair. That's a good heck of a season, actually.
It is, especially when you are coming off of 2-10, back-to-back 2-10 seasons in 2018 and 2019.
I was going to ask. I remember it being bad.
It was terrible. It was terrible.
So Chad Moore just came in and stole checks, pretty much. Chad Morris.
He did, and then took $10 million with him to get out of here.
Dang, that's a hell of a come up right there. He
was
doing all right at SMU though. I feel like, right? That's where he was at.
He was all right. Yeah, he was at SMU.
He's doing solid at SMU. Brett Bielema. I'm sorry if I'm saying murder his name. Right? Whether he the guy in Wisconsin and he dipped.
And then he came to
Ohio State or something in last
year. Yeah. So get this though. So I posted this on Twitter earlier, and this is what I'm going to say before I get off here tonight.
Cool. I know.
It's all good. It's all good. So the quarterback at Western Kentucky in 2019 was Ty Story. He was the quarterback at Arkansas in 2018, and the year they went 2-10. Chad Morris told him to get out of town because I'm bringing in Ben Hicks from SMU to be your starting quarterback. And so Ty Story goes to Western Kentucky, wins like 9 or 10 games there, comes to Fayetteville, and the last game that Chad Morris ever coached on the sideline at Arkansas, Ty Story came up and scorched his butt at Western Kentucky. He threw for like 300 yards and 3 touchdowns, and I shared it on Twitter. It was an Instagram post, and if I can find it real quick, and it said Ty Story. It says, because I told him that we put that behind us, but I lied. And he came back. He came back with his arms open wide, saying, "So long, Chad." And that was the final game. The nail in the coffin of the Chad Morris era at Arkansas was his former starter, who wasn't good enough to start for him the 2019 season. Came back and scorched him, and ended up got him fired. So, yeah, that was pretty crazy, pretty wild. How the AAC really helped Arkansas out for a little while.
That's pretty
with Chad.
That's a pretty dope story. It sucks for the program per se. It worked out because that's how I look at it for the Bearcats. Like it seems like Pittman is kind of like you guys is fickle. I mean, it's the smaller thing. I mean, because we went from having like some good glory in like the
Brian Kelly years and Butch Jones,
Kelly, D'Antonio, and then Kelly D'Antonio, even Butch Jones, he was okay. Like, we weren't trash with Butch Jones.
Right.
He was good. And then, everybody's like, man, I'm not going to lie. I was, like, all in. I'm like, we got Tommy Tuberville. That's great. Blah, blah, blah. And then he came there.
He's
freaking drying.
Terrible.
Like watching paint dry on the wall. Like, he was just stealing money, essentially, at the end of the day. And he was stealing money. And it was so bad. Like, when I would cover games, I would literally have my pregame, like my recap done by halftime.
Right.
Like I would literally just be like, okay, I see where this is going. We got a good first quarter. Second quarter, we're going to be trash. And then second half, we're going to just get stumped out. So I would literally have my pregame recap done. And all I would do is add the final stats.
Oh, my gosh.
Like to a point for like a year and a half where I was just like, it was bad. Like, but it was crazy because they had some talent, but it just was.
Yeah.
He wasn't recruiting like our area.
Yeah.
It was bad, man. Like
that's about how I got with the Chad Morris era because you can only write so many good things about 2 and 10.
Yeah, and it's like you can only, and then you can't bat. Like I'm like in college. Pro, I guess you could do what you want, but like you don't want to bash where you're at. Like,
right.
You want access. That's it at the end of the day.
Exactly.
You can get X'd off the list. You know what I mean? No matter how good, how many years you've been on there. So like you gotta be respectful. But at the same time, it was like stuff that like we got lucky that a person that covers stuff for the meet, not for the for local. My guy Keenan Singles, he's the first person to let me on TV. He had it on when he cussed the fan out. He's recording and walk off. He was recording and walk off the field. We got smacked like 40-something, 10, maybe 3.
Right.
I might be giving him too many points. And he told the dude, "Go to hell, get a job." And that's when it was like, and it went viral. It went super viral. I think it might have been the same night that you ever seen the video of Batman kicking a field goal.
Yeah.
Like 5 yards or 40 yards. It might have been that night. That's the only highlight that the Bearcats had. The kid comes out in the Batman uniform, hits the field goal or whatever. He cusses him out. And then it goes viral on Twitter and everything. And that I think the school just like, we can't keep him anymore. Like,
right.
The buyout was kind of, for us, it was like crazy. Like, he still got a good chunk to go home, but it was just like, it's over. You got to let him go. Like,
right.
Like, it was wild. But yeah. All right, I won't keep rambling on you, man. But I greatly appreciate you.
You're good, JT. No, I appreciate you having me on.
I know, man. No problem at all, man.
No, you're good, man.
Again, I know football.
Hope,
I feel like we don't have a home and home with this, or do we?
Now, if we have basketball, man, I know we're both in Maui this year for the Maui Invitational in basketball season. That's going to be a fun matchup. So
for sure,
maybe we'll catch up then.
Yeah, man, we gotta do it again then. Or hopefully they can meet up then. We'll definitely do this again. We'll talk a little crap. Hopefully, whoever teams win and just be able to rag on the other person a little bit. But we'll see what happens.
You're right.
I greatly appreciate it, man. So
Hey, thanks,
I
JT.
want to get this up, man, and hopefully Bearcat fans enjoyed it. Hopefully Razorback fans enjoyed it. So, but
Oh yeah, I will. I'll share it. I'll share it for you, buddy.
Bet, man. I appreciate it, man. Don't block me. Be good. Be good.
Oh, I won't. I won't.
That much trash.
I don't block people.
All right, cool.
I don't block anybody. So you have a good night, man.
All right, man. Have a good one.
You too. See ya.
All right.